Hey, hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. We also know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes. So you need to keep that in mind that the readings have a therapy style to them because they're healing style of readings because there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness will depend on your core beliefs, and your core beliefs are what determines what you manifest because your habits and your behaviorisms are built on that. So when we want to change a situation, we have to change ourselves. That's why they always say that healing's an inside job. So I always like to say that in my interim. I also want to warn people if I all of a sudden have a coughing fit, it's because I had allergies that went into like an upper respiratory infection. So I'm like going through these coughing fits that seem to last forever. And I don't know why. So I just wanted to warn everyone. I know someone might be at my door. Anyway, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel you can find in the description box. And also I wanted to just say, if you're in someone that is in need of shadow healing, now is the time to sign up for my shadow healing coaching program. The link is in the description box along with all other important links. But what is so great about my coaching program is it's not just shadow healing and psychic development. It's life coaching. It'll help you to find your soul's path. It'll help you to manifest your life the way that you want to manifest it. A lot of times we don't feel like we have any control over our life. And when that happens, it means that we have a lack of connection to ourself. We have a lack of connection to the physical world and actually all elements of the physical world. So we would need to learn how to integrate the spiritual blocks, right? To see again, we know how they play out as karmic themes. We know how we get in our own way. We want to know how to stop it. We want to know how we can trust ourselves. And that's really imperative. And it's imperative because the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. The kingdom of God is inside of you. So if you can imagine it, you can create it. God made us in its image. So again, the way that we are able to manifest our heaven on earth is to actually integrate the spiritual lessons. And that helps us, it really helps us be able to walk from a higher level of consciousness, which means that we have a really good character. We're pure, that we're not trying to get over on someone. We're not shady. We're not. And what we see in the world is that it's becoming darker. And it's becoming darker because of what's happening in the world. When you see complete towns being wiped out because of a hurricane, well, those people really are suffering financially. They really are living that experience. And you don't have happy feelings when you live that experience. You don't live happy feelings when you feel like you don't have control over your life. You have spiritual sovereignty, and your spiritual sovereignty allows you to create your heaven on earth. So it's understand everyone's heaven on earth is different. That's why I say it that way. Because your heaven on earth may not be my heaven on earth. I'm allergic to cats. You love cats. You'd have 100 cats in your house. That would not be my heaven on earth. I would have more dogs in my house. Though I think cats are cute, I just don't want to suffer with allergies, you know? So understand that's why I use the terminology that I do, is so that you understand, so that you can see things from a higher level of consciousness, which is considered a Christ consciousness, which is not really a religious term, but I don't know why they decided to call it a Christ consciousness if it didn't come from Christianity, to be honest with you. It's a metaphysical term. So, but that level of consciousness is one that is derived from unconditional love. So you are the energy of unconditional love. But again, when you go through experiences that are traumatic, well, We don't feel like we're unconditional love. We form behaviorisms for our survival. But then when we get out of that situation, we still have those behaviorisms. That's why it's imperative to not just integrate the spiritual lesson, that we have to actually transmute the negative energy. If we do not transmute the negative energy, well, then you're still going to attract those situations. You'll learn how to handle them. It won't be a big deal. It won't trip you up because you already learned how to integrate that lesson, which is see it from a different perception because you did something different. That's what integrate means. But transmutation means, well, what did you do with all that energy? Just because you went through the experience doesn't mean the energy is gone. You accumulated that energy. And by spiritual law, you have to do something. And so fire energy is considered kind of like, right, the dark energy, like people that have root chakra imbalances, they have really deep wounds, and those wounds are like shame, victimization, and what comes from shame is usually betrayal, right? Again, these where the person doesn't have a consciousness. That's what it feels like. You're dealing with someone that like doesn't feel, they don't have emotions. They might have addictions. They usually do have addictions because no one would be able to not have a consciousness, right? They'd have to deliberately shut it off, detach from it. So that's somebody that's of a lower consciousness, someone that's a lower consciousness we have to be careful of. But, a lot of times dealing with that type of energy, they make us feel a certain way. And because you don't know that the person's so wounded when you get involved with them. So even being in a short-term relationship, you can accumulate trauma. Trauma that I'm talking about is emotional and psychological. But again, how do you manifest? Through the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have. So when you go through the traumatic experience, again, it's the energy that needs to also be transmuted, which is you have to do something with that heavy energy, that fire energy of shame, victimization, betrayal. Those are hard energies. But what happens is most people just go into relationship, and they just accumulate so much baggage. And here you are just saying, well, why did I attract that? And unfortunately, there's only two energies, love and fear. And so if you don't know who you are, it is in alignment with, that, unfortunately. I always like to do a little tidbit before my readings to help people understand and to learn, right? Because that's what it's about, seeing things from a different perception, because you are the alchemist of your life. And learning how to be the alchemist is to learn how to transmute that dark, fiery energy and that fire. What I'm talking about, fire, by the way, what do you think I'm talking about? I'm talking about rage. When we have shame, it's like we're not walking around being like, I'm shameful. Like what it is that it's turned inward. We're angry. When someone hurts us and betrays us, we have rage, we have anger. It's like, which is a normal emotion, but it needs to be not just integrated, but transmuted, doing something with that energy to help you to recreate a new version of yourself. This is how you truly become the phoenix. You rise from the ashes. We all have to rise from the ashes from time to time in our life. It's part of the evolution process, part of learning. So the word of the video is going to be disappointment. Disappointment. I feel like that's you. I feel like it's you because, again, you are tapped into someone that you feel like that they have feelings for you. You also know that they're just pretending that they don't have feelings for you because you have a strong spiritual connection. So you're disappointed in how immature this person is. There's a sense of you never do the right thing. It's like you're just a disappointment. And the irony is that this person thought that you were going to chase after them and be angry and rageful and how dare you do that to me? And I don't believe that that's what happened. So your person's disappointed because you didn't react the way that they thought you were going to react. So everyone's disappointed. So let's see what actually happened. Let's see what happened. Confronting. So it's again, you did confront this person because I feel like, again, anytime they could create some emotional intimacy, and that's just trust through friendship, through going out of their own way, they refused to do it. And so you said something to them and they twisted it around like you were lashing out at them, like that they were the enemy or something. That's how they saw it. And where that's not what it is. If anything, your person has an anger issue. You don't have the anger issue. You respect yourself. This person confused you respecting yourself for, again, controlling. And I believe it's because they've only gotten into relationships with people that like to control them. So this person deliberately held back from you, but they saw you confronting. So you're like, I can't even talk to you. You don't just not show up for me. But when I tell you, oh, it was someone died, you don't say anything. Or there's a birthday, you don't say anything. Oh, I got a promotion, you don't say anything. When you should show up for me, you don't show up for me. So, of course, you're going to say something to this person because you don't want to feel like you're used. You don't want to feel like a piece of meat. So, I feel like you're also disappointed because you're seeing things from a much different perspective. And it's made you really angry, made you disappointed. It made you really hurt. Yeah, well, this person was in denial for a long time about how they treated you. And they're still like in denial. There's part of this person that doesn't want to believe that they blew their connection with you. And that's almost like not even because I want to come in and treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. It's because I want to be able to come and go as I please. I want you to just be like there for me. I don't really want to think about what I have to do for you. So again, they acted like they didn't care, which is what I said to begin with. It's like that this person just, any chance that they had to create that emotional depth, they didn't. And what you saw is, I turned around, I should have just pulled it because it's again the many flames. Like this person didn't really care about those other people, but it made them feel good to have so many different people. But now I feel like they don't have those same people. And I don't know why I'm feeling that. I feel like your person is in a different space now, but we'll see. But this is really what I feel like. I feel like this person during the time, instead of giving you time, they ran around and talked to other people. And it's not like they hid that from you either. It's like they were be like overly friendly on Facebook. And so like where they knew that you were gonna see. Like where then for you, you were lucky if you even got a like. Like it was like the comparison was grossly like different. And you're like, okay, so you're telling me when I see you how much you care, but really you don't care. You don't care at all about me. That's like, again, this is why you're looking at how you're looking at it now from where you are. Yeah, like things were just too difficult, like because they made everything difficult where it didn't really need to be difficult. And that's where I think you're also a little disappointed at yourself because you were like, I didn't see what they were doing. And so I feel like your person thought that you were naive and they toyed with you. Yeah, like nothing but lies. It's like you felt like, again, you feel like you were living a lie, like, because now you're saying to yourself, well, you didn't really care about me. Like, you're telling me, but I was believing what I wanted to believe. And I think that now your person is saying, now I wanted to believe what I wanted to believe, which was that you were always going to be there, that I could run back to you whenever I wanted to, that I could treat you however I wanted to, instead of honoring the connection. So the tables have totally turned. Like, I feel like this person's now lonely, where during the time you felt alone in the connection because they wouldn't let you in. Even if it was just a friendship, you felt like it was one-sided. You're like, I'm doing all the work, which is what this person wanted you to do. They didn't want to grow feelings because any chance that they got, they blew the connection. Yeah, because they wore a mask. Again, they got tired of, like, you got tired of this person pretending to be like someone that they're not. Like, you're pretending that you really care about me, but I actually see how, like, who you are. You're not a good person. You pretend to be a good person. You pretend to, like, really care about me, but you don't care about me, because over the course of time, every single chance they had to come through for you, they didn't come through. But they came through for random people, like insignificant people, like people in the town, people that if they owned a business, people that would, venture into their business to buy things or to get the service done. Or again, people, not people that meant anything. That's the thing. They were insignificant people, but they made sure that you would always see. And so it's like, you're like, yeah, everybody else thinks that you're a good person. Everybody else thinks that you're nice, but they don't know what you did to me. You don't, and see, this is why your person feels the way that they do, like they wanted to stay in denial, because when you tried to tell them, they saw it as that you were completely confronting them, that you were just trying to control them and start arguments where they didn't want to look and see that they were acting like they didn't give a shit, giving time to every single other person, not you, where you were lonely. And then obviously you had to turn around to yourself and say, I guess I'm lying to myself, because you're like lying to me all the time, but your words are not lining up with your actions. So it really doesn't matter anymore what you say. It's like, because your mask fell off. Well, yeah, like you'd rather run around and give to like random people. You're not being good to anybody. You're not being genuine to anyone. So it's like you're deliberately going for people that you think that you can get over on, that you think, so you didn't really take the time to get to know me and you made a false judgment about me. And so that's why this person is actually disappointed too, because they would rather actually see that you were the bad person. Now they're seeing you're not the bad person, you're a good person, that they didn't give you time. And that, again, that you were going to settle, I should say. And that's why I don't know why this person would always think that you were going to be there, because you must have given them time, but they actually really thought you're always going to be there for me. And you settled for a lot less than what you deserved for too long, which is what this person perceived. I'm not saying that you did or you didn't, but most people don't give anyone that much time, right? When we're busy in our life and we have a lot of things going on, and there's somebody that's insignificant that comes into our life and they want to just waste our time, or they have wasted our time before because they've been in and out. Well, most people don't continue to give that much time. They don't sit there on the phone or text message back and forth, where I feel like you did that and this person misread it as like, oh, you're really into me. Like, oh yeah, we have a connection, but I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll put you on the shelf. And while I'm on the shelf, I'm going to keep you low. I'm going to make you feel bad about yourself so you won't go run out and meet anyone else. So you won't know what your worth is because I don't think that you know what your worth is. And since you don't know what your worth is, this is the way that I'm going to treat you. And then you won't be meeting anyone. So if I come back in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whenever I feel like it, well, you're going to take me back. And I'm just going to come in and out of your life and just give you what I feel like giving you when I feel like it. And yeah, it's going to feel really difficult for you, but hey, you've been in this connection for this long. This was this person's energy. And so we can see that they were in a really low vibration, okay? That they were very selfish. We don't need to pull a card for that. We can see that. It was a very one-sided thing. But this person always knew who you were. They always had a connection to you. I just think that they didn't think that you knew what your worth was. Almost like and even that what's sad is like this person would come back in 2, 3 years, treat you however they wanted, and then do the same shit. You know what I mean? It wouldn't even be like things would change, like because this is how this person is. I need you to trust me and believe me. I am working towards union with you. So it's again, I feel like they're trying to they want to like try and fix this now, which I knew because they're disappointed and they can't deal with feeling disappointed. They don't like anyone to feel like they look like the bad guy. And it's also like, or I should say, they don't want anyone of your caliber to think that they're the bad guy. If you were who they perceived you were right in the beginning of the connection, well, then they wouldn't care. But now that they see who you are, well, now this person like sees your value. Look, once again, I'm tired of being away from you physically. I'm trying to process my fear so I can come back to you. So if you want to know where they're at, it's like, please send me energetic support. Use the frequency of love to uplift me because I need your help. They're, they want to come towards you, but there's a sense of them like wanting to be sure that they're not going to be rejected. They also feel like, like they don't want to be shot down. So this person has a really low self-esteem. This is what this looks like. And so they tend to go with people of a lower hanging fruit. And that doesn't mean that they are that, but anyone that's going to give them too much time, where they think that there's nothing else going on in their life, well, or that their life isn't that good. And they might base it on, the job that you have, the car that you drive, the home that you live. This person's really, again, of a low vibration. See, this person still thinks on some level that that connection, they're not sure. And that's why they want you to like contact them. They want you to contact them. If you would to contact them, they would be back in a heartbeat, but they want you to contact them so that they can be sure that they're not going to get shot down, so that they don't have mud on their face, but they don't know like how you feel. You might still have that connection to them. Do you still care about them? Can they resolve it? Can they, like, there's parts of this person that doesn't really know whether you want to be with them or not. They knew that you had a very strong connection. They don't want the connection to be over, but it's like, I feel like this person can't deal with the fact that you just like, well, like, I don't want to be with you because you're not giving me anything. It's like, and you finally let go. I feel like you hung out on for a while, but you finally let go. And this person is so freaking shocked like you got their attention. They were completely ignoring it. See, there's a lesson from all this. So they still feel very connected to you. There's a part that of them that's like, there has to be a reason why you're in my life. There has to be. So what I see is they are gonna eventually come back to you, but if and when they come back, I feel like it's going to be like where like trying to bump into you while maybe talk to a mutual friend. Like they're not going to contact you direct. Again, this person like has a little bit of like they're too afraid that you're going to shoot them down. So if that you want to know what they're going to do, but then we have to say again why. But my feeling again intuitively is because they always thought you were going to be there. They always knew who you were. They just again always always just thought that they could treat you however they wanted to treat you because you put up with it. It's like you might not have known what this person was doing, but they're like, you would have if you were like on, like, if you would have, if you were living a certain life, or again, like very busy in your own life, or weren't looking for that person to give you that emotional fulfillment. And they knew that. Where this person has so many different people at the time, they thought who the fuck that they were. I have so many flames, so many people want to be with me. So I can see you really want to be with me because every time I come around, you make yourself available for me because you sit there and you talk to me. Because, I can tell you, I can hint around and have a whole conversation with you to see what you're going to say. And I can read that, that you really do like me. Joker card. Yeah, like, and how it is, it's like, but now this person sees that they made it really like a hassle and there's so many problems. Like, it didn't need to be, and you're not really going to believe whatever they tell you because there's a sense that they lied so much to you before that you're like, you're a liar, and then you're going to come back because you realize that I'm the one that left, that I disconnected from you, and that makes you feel like shit about yourself. It's again that your mask fell off. It's like you're not all that. You always thought I was going to be there. That's not who the fuck I am. This is who I am. And so they again don't feel good about that. It's a trigger for them. So the last thing that they want to do is keep it like that. But again, they want the control. Okay. That's what they want. They want the control because and they're going to do it by creating like craziness, like a mess. Yeah, but this person knows that they can't really come towards you because in the time that you've been away from this person, I feel like you became like abundant, or this person feels as if you became abundant. And that could be you started to hang out with different people, you started to do different things that they noticed that you're, you know, going to different places that are more established, that you're doing more things within the community. They see the change is within inside of you. And now they're looking at themselves and they're saying, well, now I don't have enough. And that's really what it is. It's like it's like they really feel like they don't have enough. I love that because the whole reason why this person wouldn't be with you is because on some level they didn't think that your life looked good enough for them. Again, and now they're in a victim mentality, like they just can't believe, like they can't believe that you left, that they're in a victim mentality. And so they're confused about what happened, or they're going to act as if they're confused. They're hyper focused about what happened. So I feel like they're ruminating on it and they just can't stop thinking about it. So this person is going to come back to you. And there is a part of this person that does have feelings, but I'm not going to lie here. This person is like just cannot deal with the fact that you're the one that walked away, that you're the one that has the power. They have never dealt with anyone that's done that. They've dealt with people that have yelled and screamed and people that try to trick and manipulate and even people that like try and sweep them off their feet and and make them feel like a $1,000 no matter how they treat them. They've dealt with everything, but they've never dealt with somebody that has just like seen them for who they are and detached and went off and had a good life, had a better life. They've never seen it. They've normally never regretted like a behavior that they've done to anyone ever. It's like they do you because you're somebody that they really truly did have a connection to, but they were like, oh, but your life isn't really as good as what I would want it to be. So maybe you would like were trying to figure out your job. Maybe they didn't see you as making a lot of money. Maybe they didn't see you as, again, so they put you in a category. And again, and part of you is you're your real own person. This person is looking at you from a completely different perspective. And I feel like they are kicking themselves because they're like, no, you're not hiding behind Coco Chanel and, Prada handbags. And it doesn't mean that you don't have those, but that's not who you say that you are. You don't flaunt your bag around. You don't, where I feel like this person usually is with very superficial people because they're very superficial. And here you are, you're like a one of a kind, a diamond in the rough. And this person had a connection. They should have nurtured the connection. They didn't. They looked at you as less than because they were looking at you from a monetary perception. That's really what happened. So they really hate the fact that this is sitting with them. But I have to tell you, it's not because of it's not because 100% that they're in love. It's because again, their ego. And I tell you, it's again like it's like you upstage this person. And that's what I felt like. You upstaged. Like, yeah, like you're completely opposite from this person. You like they feel like you hid that part from them. But and that you also have changed during this time. They can't figure it out. They can't figure it out. Like, but it's almost like it's so mysterious. It's so different. You're so different and they know that everybody sees that about you. And they also see how they treated you. So they're really in an uncomfortable place. So we have to say, again, I do believe you'll hear from this person eventually, because again, I don't think that their ego will want them to sit like this, but I feel like they'll contact you through someone. They'll bump into you. They're not going to like have the guts to actually pick up the phone or contact you directly and say what they need to say. It's like this person wants to make sure that you're not dating anyone, make sure that they're not going to get spit in the face, because they don't know. They just know that you're disappointed. They know that they hurt you and they know that it wasn't right and they're looking at it now and they're like ashamed but they're ashamed because they see you as a completely different person. Like you didn't like just lay down and die like it like that song. No, like you really like went on and became somebody completely different. It's like almost like became a better version of yourself. Again, shame. So we asked, these are your inner child wound cards, and shame is that energy that I was talking about. It's a root chakra energy so if you were shamed in childhood, you were victimized by a parent, and that could be like your schoolwork or anything. If your parent just had very like high expectations or unrealistic expectations of you, you were shamed. So, and shame is the energy when we don't integrate it because we still are holding on to that energy from childhood. And that would happen if you didn't create yourself enough. you'd still be seeing yourself from that level of perception, which is, no, I like myself now, but it's like I still don't make money, or I still haven't figured out an aspect of my life. This is an area of my life that's still not working. Well, then Spirit says shame, and a shame will make you attract people that do bad things. That's why Spirit opened up the reading with all that explanation. Look at that. Showed up right in the end. Innocence. That's what this person thought. Again, naive. You were naive. And I believe that you grew up in an environment that they thought that you were naive, that you won't get it, that you're like that I don't want to say it, almost like a little dumb. It's like that you're naive, like a child, like you're not going to get it. And when you're made to feel like you're dumb, that's a feeling of shame, that you're not good enough. So if you're not good enough, you're not lovable. And if you're not lovable, then you get abandoned. So the core wound is really abandonment because of shame. Their root chakra imbalances, and that's connection to the physical body, the physical world, all physical elements of the physical world. And the problem is that if it's a root chakra imbalance, all your chakras become imbalanced, all of them. And then what happens is that it comes out in your behaviorism. So now your second chakra, then you're going to be someone that's either overly controlling, or someone that doesn't have an identity at all and is too afraid and too timid to actually go out and get it. And then, you're not listening to your gut and intuition, and that's your higher self. And then you're not giving and receiving of love through your free will because you don't know. And you can't give of yourself, like meaning physically, you have to give and receive of love through like your contribution to humanity and to become yourself. So again, you didn't become yourself. You were still holding on to shame due to the fact of, if you're told that you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, and made to feel like you're a child, well, then you're just not going to have the confidence to go out. And if you don't have the confidence, because you're not, again, going out and finding yourself, you're living from someone else's limited perception of who they perceive you are, and that's shame. Someone made you feel like you're shame. You're not shame. You can't be shame. You can't be guilt. You can't be betrayal. You are unconditional love. You're the energy of the universe. The universe is inside of you. That's why they say the sun and the stars are inside of you. They are. Just like we're all connected to each other through this energy, and it's the highest vibrational energy. And that highest vibrational energy is the energy of the God of deity. The deity part of ourselves is that God part of self. So because you were neglected, again, making you feel not good enough. And this person actually did the same thing. They neglected you. Oh, I'm going to put you on the shelf. I'll come back eventually. I'm putting you on layaway. And I'm only going to pay like a few dollars every time. And I got the 100-year plan, I mean, and meanwhile, the couch is only like $50, it's like the person's giving pennies. They're neglecting you and thinking that you don't know, that you're so naive that you don't know, that you just are going to believe what they say, that they're busy all the time, that they're working, that other things are happening, that you don't know, that there's other people that you don't see. No, they wanted you to see. So that was the thing. So they would, again, like be like a narcissist. And narcissists sometimes are really nice and sometimes they're not. And sometimes they lie. And sometimes they, again, deliberately create the environment to make you perceive certain things about who they are and yourself. So again, this person like was gaslighting and creating that persona to also keep you stuck. They didn't want to give you anything, but they didn't want you to meet anyone either. So again, no support. Anger is that. You see like the father and the son, here it is, or the father and the daughter. I don't know I don't know like what gender it is. So again, we'll say that it's non-binary. Like, that that again, the support system, right? It's like if they would I had no support, was neglected. And then when I couldn't do things, because I couldn't figure them out because I didn't have any support, I was shamed. And that actually robs the innocence of a child, as this person robbed the innocence of this connection, because that's why you're disappointed, because you can't really see them any different now. Yeah, like play, where spirit's saying, well, if you were shamed, you wouldn't really, you might go out and play, but it's like to go out and play now, it's to find who you are. I feel like you weren't, you might have went out to play, but it was like not, they weren't like you went out to play by yourself. You didn't really go and invest in anything. There wasn't like if you were made to feel shamed and neglected, well, you weren't inviting friends over. So you weren't like going to different places and actually seeing what resonated with you, what called to you, what you like. You might have went out and played in the backyard, but you didn't go and explore, like, because your parents, they neglected you, and that could be they were working all the time, but that it means that they weren't raising you, and so you weren't encouraged to try things. You weren't encouraged to, go off on your own and explore. You were shamed. You were shamed because when you're shamed by a parent, it's because the parent has shame inside of them. And shame, like I said, is one of those energies that it's going to create a lot of anger. It's going to create a lot of rage. And in that, when you're dealing with a parent that has a lot of rage and a lot of anger, well, it's very overstimulating as a child. And so now, due to overstimulation, you get in your own way because you're thinking too much thinking, and oh, if I don't get it right, if I have to figure it out, and then too much emotion. I can't feel, and if I can't feel, then I can't intuitively pick on information, and then that's when sabotaging behaviorisms come into play, because you can't get out of your own way. So I feel like because of the way that you grew up not having support, that connection again to love, first connection is through our parents. And if our parents didn't have a nurturing way about them and they were wounded, where they're going to shame and they're going to victimize, well, then what happens is that the child goes out into every relationship and attracts people that tend to like act exactly like how this person acted, which is you're not worthy. And so you're like, why? I'm a nice person. I'm worthy. And the spirit says, you are worthy, but you're not acting like you're worthy. Look how much you gave this person. They weren't worth 5 fucking minutes by the way that they acted. And here you are on the phone for 3 hours, texting them for 2 hours, an hour. They pop in and out once a month to do a little check-in. It's again, Spirit said that's why. But go out and play. Go out and find yourself, create yourself, become yourself, because you're not shame. You're not shame. It's not possible. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Truth. Again, growing up with shame and a lot of times you're gonna be an empath. And it's because when a child grows up in an environment that's very turbulent, overstimulating, because again, the parent is rageful because of their own shame, well, then what winds up happening is, you know, the child can't trust what they think anymore because they're in survival mode. So you had to, again, trust your gut, had to trust your heart. You had to trust these two psychic centers, not really the logical, analytical mind. So you might have been shamed because you had learning problems or ADHD, and where your parents didn't know what it was. So you were called lazy. You were called, again, you were made to feel like there was something wrong with you. And so, again, love would be difficult because see yourself as that there's something wrong with you, like defective, as I said earlier, and shame is rooted in those type of energies. It's a very harsh energy. And what'll happen when you stay in this energy for too long, you get addictions because it doesn't feel good. It's a root chakra imbalance, which that first chakra is connected to the adrenal gland. So you feel tired and lethargic and you just can't think, because you're in survival mode. You can't stay in survival mode for long periods of time. So Spirit said, you mastered, again, that, but understand this person, even though that they were a big fat jerk, well, at the end of the day, they pushed you into, like, they were the catalyst to help you become yourself. That's why this person doesn't recognize who you are, because you were like, oh, fuck you. You're not going to make me feel that way. I learned this lesson before. I'm not going to have a conversation though. You ain't worth the conversation. And you detached from them and you didn't say word. This person was waiting for the fireworks. The fireworks never came, expected you to say something. You're like, I already said something a long time ago when we were in the connection. I detached from you. It's like because you didn't want to hear it. You saw it as me lashing out. You saw me as controlling you. So I detached because I realized you're comfortable treating me this way. You don't want to look at your behavior. You want to deflect and make it shame me for how you're treating me. No. So Spirit says, congratulations. You had not just integrated the spiritual lesson by doing something different. Again, you took your energy away from this person, but you transmuted that negative energy where now you can buy that Prada bag if you really want to, or whatever it is. It's not important because you know that it's not your identity. But at this point in time, this person might have saw you again just starting off or creating yourself. And now you're in a better place within your life because you took your time and your energy and you poured all your resources back into yourself. And being an empath, again, which is the truth finder, right? It's like that's what empaths are. They're truth seekers and they're also truth speakers. And that's why when you listen to that, that's of the higher self. And we end off with one last message from Spirit. What can we do about this? This one's kind of jumping out at me. Well, two came out. I wonder what they are. Well, Spirit, harmony. I open myself up to the divine being within me. Again, God's inside of you as that supernatural energy. That's what I was talking about. That's your spiritual sovereignty. That is what transcends all limitations of the physical world. So when you say, I don't have enough money, Spirit says, doesn't matter. You can say, like, again, no, I don't have. Spirit says, the world's abundant. You're abundant. You have everything you need. So again, I open myself up to the divine being within me. I am the image of God. Again, God made you in its image. You need to access that energy by integrating the higher levels of consciousness, which are all derived from unconditional love. So when we walk with, compassion and integrity and courage and perseverance, and we're self-sacrificing when we're again when the time is right. We're not always doing that to a point that we're hurting ourselves, but that we can do it from time to time for those that need it, that we can be compassionate even when it's not called for. I mean, it's not deserving, I should say. Like in Spirit says, it's always called for. Well, again, when it's not really deserved. And we can forgive when it's almost impossible. That's Spirit saying, well, that's the payoff. You have to, again, that's what needs to be clear. In order for you to access your spiritual sovereignty, your spiritual gifts, in order for you to create your heaven on earth. And understand your heaven on earth is going to change because you change, but you'll be able to continuously metamorphosize it because you are on your path. You're in the co-creation process, but you have to come from a higher level of consciousness. This is what Spirit's saying, is to find harmony. I have the power to bring light into my life. I turn any darkness in me into something beautiful. That's the transmutation process. That's, again, not just integrating. What did it say here? It says, I turn something beautiful, something inside of me, that's beautiful. So again, that was dark. So shame was dark. And so what did you do? You became yourself. In the absence of resentment, right? What did I say? Shame, and it comes from resentment, anger, or doubt. You find harmony. And harmony comes with balance. And then Spirit says, two came out this time, and the other one was action. Now, Spirit says, I want to see you transmute the rest of that negative energy. And that's what can only happen by you taking action, that your divine action ignites love and harmony. See that? Why the two came out together? I am aware of my thoughts and are driven by positive force. So Spirit's saying you need to be aware constantly of your thoughts and driven by positive forces. You listen to your own heart, your own desires to manifest light, and you transform the tests into growth, which is what happened here. That was a test. If you would have been with this person, it would have kept you in a place of shame. You didn't do that. You passed the test. And you moved it into growth and challenges into opportunities, where Spirit says, that's why you need to see you take more action. So those opportunities can come towards you, okay? Otherwise, you're not gonna you can't do it yourself. God helps those that help themselves. When the student is ready to teach your peers, God says, don't do my job. Be like childlike. Then you got to go out there and you got to make it happen. And that's challenges into opportunity. That's a transmutation process. And that's how you turn fear into love. Shame is derived from fear. And you alone are just unconditional love. I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. You let me know how you resonated with this. And if you need shadow healing coaching program, now is the time. Until the 10th. Only until the 10th, the doors closed, because I'm only allowing a few people to this cohort this time around. I will have them from time to time, but now is the time. Enrollment, the description box, along with all other important, again, information. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.